Seti says Jesus used a magic wand when performing miracles. Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Hope everybody's having a good first day of the work week. Hopefully, it's a lot calmer now since we're heading into that most pagan of all holidays, Christmas. And of course, like I say, what's up to the party people in the chat? We got David Payne in the check-in. We got David Collins, D.W. Conley. We got the incomparable, the indelible Nate2D2. We got Romy Rome in the house. Of course, we have the Reverend Nick Quint in the building. We got Tyler Lott in the building. So everybody starting to come in. This is good. This is good. And as always, if you have not yet already, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that's him again. And if you like how it goes down with the BK, you can show your love. And you could consider it a Christmas present, or Hanukkah, or, Festivus for the rest of us, right? Via PayPal. Or you can become a monthly supporter and become a patron. We get an assortment of teaching aids to help you in your personal Bible study. And what's up here? Oh, all right. So I am graced to have a very powerful man of God and apologist in the building, showing that razor sharp wit and Southern hospitality. Of course, I'm talking about none other than M.J. Jackson. What's going on, sir?
Grace and peace to you, my friend. I'm still recovering from what happened with the Cowboys yesterday.
You're a Cowboy fan? Really?
Begrudgingly, yes.
Well, I guess you're from the South, right? You have no choice. So
yeah, I gotta kind of root for him.
Wow, you guys gotta be bad too, right? Buffalo beat the brakes off you.
Yeah, they got physical.
They beat the brakes off you. Dude.
That was a ball control. They were hitting people. My wife said something don't look right with CD. They need to get CD out the game because they getting physical with them boys.
Yeah, how them boys? I
don't think
31-10. Thank you, Rome.
yeah. I don't think anybody wants to mess with the Bills.
That's
you know what?
Trouncing boy.
They got so physical with them that I saw that Garfield called Damon out.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious.
Where did the Bill fan come from?
Not a Bill fan, he's just a Cowboy hater. You know what I mean?
But other than that, I'm maybe we'll have to have another live to talk about the Jonathan Majors situation.
Yeah, man, that was disappointing.
Just real quick. I mean, I see people. Yeah, he got convicted of assault. Reckless assault.
Right, it wasn't intentional.
Okay. I used to be a cop, so I think I could say a little bit about this. If I run into if I fall on your leg or somehow cause you bodily harm, if I didn't intentionally do it, it was reckless. But if it caused you bodily harm, it was assault.
Right.
Now, I feel bad for the brother, and I use the word brother, so I'm talking in code. But if you know, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a sad state of affairs. I mean, even just a general understanding of how the relationship was basically toxic. Like, no matter what side you are on when it comes to that, I think we all can agree the relationship had issues.
Bobby and Whitney,
they had issues. So it's sad, all the way around. But yeah, we definitely need to talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Yep.
But so tonight, though, we're talking about a claim that's being made by an individual by the name of Sara Suten Seti. Now, for those who are not aware of Mr. Seti, he is a quite well-known individual within the conscious community. Uh, we don't see as much of him as we used to ever since him and Sonetta had a falling out. But he's still out there. He still has a large platform, and he's still attacking Jesus. So I know for a lot of people, Sarah Soon said he was actually like the gateway drug to the conscious community because he has such a very, how can I say, a very crude way of explaining things that people find charming. You know, it's a very hood, very southern hood urban draw that he has, and you know he presses all the right buttons when it comes to a distrust and a distasteful Christianity. So you know he recently did a video claiming that Jesus is basically a sorcerer who uses a magic wand to perform his miracles. That you know it's not so much that he's the son of God; he's more like Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? So um, I don't know if you saw his video, but what are some of your thoughts about the claim and the person making said claim?
I'm gonna start with the person.
Okay.
It's gonna seem a little ad hominem for a second, but I think it's warranted a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about Sara Suten Seti, and you ask some people, he's the brightest light bulb in the conscious community. If you ask some people,
Right.
um, but he's known for making these assertions. And we've done a few pieces on Star Suit City, and most of the claims that he make come right out of the Ashrar Quasi Conscious Community Handbook. Um, though it's the same talking points. So I wouldn't be surprised that we see videos by Mr. Seti, General Seti,
Yep.
you know that we see this brother pushing his gimmick along with these talking points. So it's not surprising at all.
Right. So with that being said, we're gonna watch a good sizable snippet of this video. We'll go see like maybe a good solid 9 minutes, and then from there we'll do our commentary. So with that being said, share the screen. All right.
What does this say? Jesus the magician? The magician? This ain't the son of God, is it? I mean, goddamn, the son of God need to, throw a spell on a nigga. The renowned historian reveals how Jesus was viewed by people of his time. Yeah, the magic in Christianity. From Jesus to the Gnostics. What the fuck? Yeah, from Jesus to the Gnostics. So now let's take a look at some things here. So we don't want you to think, look at this. Look at this. Do you see that shit right there? He got a goddamn wand in his hand. You see? And he didn't put it, unless he didn't conk the nigga over the head with that motherfucker. Yeah, he might have didn't, he might have put hands on the motherfucker. You see? But no, that's a wand, and I guess that's Lazarus. And he's supposedly raising Lazarus from the dead. Okay, he's raising Lazarus from the dead. And the crazy thing, as I look at this, I see these characters over here to the right with their Mithrin. These is Persians with the hat of Mithra on their head. And so here it is, they're renowned magicians, the Chaldeans, renowned magicians, you see. And so, this Serapis Jesus comes in the image of the Persian mystics. Yeah, is that the only one? No, that ain't the only one. We're gonna walk you. We're gonna walk with you today. Look at this. Yeah, that's a fucked up looking Jesus too. That motherfucker nose look like goddamn Big Bird. Yeah, he got big, but you see right there, he got a wand in his hand. He got a wand in his hand. And see, this is very interesting. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's so interesting. Because the closer you get to individual in history, the closer you get in time, the closer you get to an event, you see, in time and place, the clear the information is about that individual and that whatever time and place or event. You see, whatever event or whatever individual you're doing research, the closer you get to that individual, the closer you get to that event, the clearer the information about that person and that event will become. The further you get away from the event and the individual, the less reliable the information will become. You want to be as contemporary to the individual, to the event as possible. You see, you want to be as close and as contemporary to that individual and that event as possible. So now when we look at contemporary, let me get that up out of there. Yeah, let me get that on out of there for a second.
Oh, Jesus.
And so you see right there, this motherfucker, and that's Lazarus. And he didn't went to the grave of Lazarus and he didn't waved a damn.
All right, so I'm scared to ask this question. What are some of your initial thoughts, MJ?
Yeah, I'm trying not to get caught up into this brother's cadence of speech. But I'm thinking he's gonna cut himself with the the closer to contemporary authors and statements that he was making. But said he's entertaining, man. He really hasn't said too much of nothing. But he's put up quite a few pictures
Right,
for his audience to look at.
right.
You got to be careful allowing certain Negroes to get a hold to a computer with pictures.
You terrible. You're
Because
terrible.
these are the type of things that can happen.
Well, I mean, I did appreciate one thing that he said, and it's true. You know, when you're looking to find out the most accurate information about a person in history, you definitely want to go to the contemporary literature and artifacts that surround this figure, so you have a better understanding of who this person was in history. And the further away you are from that person, the less reliable the information is. This is true, and this will bite him in the butt, as we'll see shortly. So, as you know how I do, share my screen. All right, so let me do this. So we saw him share this particular relief, right? So the problem with this relief is that it's not Jesus killing Lazarus. It's the fragment of a sarcophagus represents the adoration of the Magi and Ezekiel and the dry bones resuming life. This is from the Vatican Necropolis Christian Museum of Benedict, 4th century AD, Vatican, Rome. So remember what he said, like the further you are from the time of the actual event or person, the less reliable it is. This is 4th century AD. This is hundreds of years away from the life and times of Jesus. So not only is this too far past the event, it's not Jesus anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ezekiel. Okay, so he goes on and shows another one. This is the one where he makes fun of Jesus' nose, right? This is the gravestone of Datus. In this inscription, the parents dedicate the epitaph to the son of 20 years. The figure to the left represents the resurrection of Lazarus, the most common image found in catacombs. It reflected the belief of the early Christians in Jesus as the author of eternal life. Marble catacomb inscription, Rome, 3rd century. Vatican Museum, right? 3rd century. This is not contemporaneous with the life and times of Christ. He goes on to show this as well. There's another relief of Jesus and Lazarus. The resurrection of righteous Lazarus, fresco from the catacomb of Giordani, Rome, 4th century. This is not contemporaneous at all. This is hundreds of years after the fact. Okay. Here's another one that he shows. Is that the same one? Hold on. Nope, it's a different one. Right? He shows this one as well. This is from the catacombs of Calitus, Rome, Italy, Jesus raising Lazarus, dating to 3rd century. So again, these things are not contemporaneous with the life and times of Christ. So he should have listened to his own advice in the video, because this is very far away from the actual person and times of Jesus, right? Before I continue, MJ, any thoughts?
Nah, let's continue on. You said that.
Okay, so all right, so now let's deal with this thing that we see in these sarcophagi, different reliefs, right? What is this thing that Jesus is holding? Well, this is an article by Lee M. Jefferson entitled "Jesus the Magician: Why Jesus Holds a Wand in Early Christian Art." The implement that Jesus holds, sometimes called a vigra or rhabdos, is portrayed as either thick and ruddy, such as on the sarcophagi, or thin and reed-like, such as in catacomb paintings. He uses it in the performance of a miracle, leading several scholars to conclude that early Christians understood Jesus as a magician. The problem with this identification is that early Christians greatly maligned magic. Magicians certainly existed, but their power was not in a wand-like tool, but in spells. There are a great number of spells and incantations collectively known as the Greek magical papyri. They mostly deal with exorcisms, healings, and love spells. Although some mention the use of wand-like instrument as part of the spell, the tool is always secondary importance. The power of late antique magic was in the proper execution and vocalization of the spell. Moreover, early Christian figures such as Origen, Augustine, and John Chrysostom all vigorously, I can't even say that, attacked magical practice. Origen even defended Jesus against accusations that he was a common magician. Finally, there is no recovered visual evidence of a late antique magician doing his or her job in a manner these images portray Jesus. It would seem strange that these images were meant to depict Jesus as a magician. Now, it's not that there were no such thing as magic wands, okay? It's just during the time of Jesus, when magicians did cast their spells, they didn't use magic wands. But there were magic wands. Like, for instance, these were found in ancient Egypt, right? But look at the time, 1981, 1802 BC, right? Wands such as these were a common feature in burials of the late Middle Kingdom. This one shows signs of wear on one tip, suggesting that it was used over a period of time before being placed in a tomb. The wand is decorated on one side with the figures of protective deities, most of whom carry knives to ward off evil spirits. The purpose of the wands is revealed by an inscription carved on the back of this one. Quote, "Recitation by the many protectors. We have come that we may extend our protection against the healthy child, around the healthy child, Menotep, alive, sound, and healthy, born of the noble woman, Sitsobek, alive, sound, and healthy." Other wands are inscribed in the front with the words, quote, "protection by day," and, quote, "protection by night." The text indicate that the wands were used to defend infants against malign forces, having provided defense against illness during life. After death, the wands were placed in the tomb to ensure the continued protection of the deceased spirit in the eternal afterlife. So there are such things as magic wands, but this is way before antiquity. And notice how they look. They don't look like the things that Jesus was holding in the sarcophagi and reliefs at all. Just want to add that to the conversation here. Uh, Viewers approach images like these through the lens of centuries of understanding magicians or wizards as wielding wands in the performance of their spells. The popularity of Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling lends a strong recent influence. Many modern viewers would even suggest that the wand makes Jesus looks like Harry Potter. Our cultural landscape conditions us to make similar associations through literature, film, and popular culture. Yet the tool Jesus wields is not a magician's wand, but a staff. Significant clues of this interpretation can be gleaned from the Bible, which mentions miracle working implements, in particular, the staff of Moses. Moses is granted the power to perform miracles by the God of Israel in the Exodus narrative with his staff. Early Christians understood Moses to be the most powerful miracle worker of the Hebrew Bible next to Elijah. In his diatribe against Celsius, the third century Christian thinker Origen calls Moses the greatest miracle worker before Jesus. It is no coincidence that in the synoptic gospel accounts of the transfiguration, Jesus is seen with Moses and Elijah. The valence of miracles continues into the Jesus movement as Jesus is associated with the greatest miracle workers from the Bible. The staff of Moses is a way to connect Jesus to the miracle working tradition of Moses. Occasionally in early Christian art, images of Jesus with the staff appear alongside images of Moses performing miracles with the staff. The first century church in Rome, Santa Sabina, boasts some of the earliest Christian wood carved doors with images. On one panel, Jesus performs miracles with the staff, including the raising of Lazarus. On a nearby panel, Moses turns the staff into a serpent. In the catacombs in Rome, the association between the staff of Moses and the staff of Jesus is clear, often due to the images' proximity to one another. On one side of the wall, paintings in the red uh, caboculum of the catacomb of Domitilla, Jesus used the staff in the raising of Lazarus, touching the tiny burial house that holds the wrapped body. On the opposing side, Moses strikes the rock with his staff to draw the water. And here's the relief that we're talking about. This is mid 4th century. So let me give you a close up here. So you see on the left, on my left, it's Jesus, right, resurrecting Lazarus, and then on the other side of the relief is Moses with water. So they're making this connection, right? And we know in the book of Hebrews, Jesus is greater than Moses, right? So that's basically what's being conveyed here in these reliefs. Influenced by modern pop culture and literary characters such as Harry Potter, we may be forgiven for interpreting the mysterious tool as a magic wand. The reality is even more complex and fascinating. For early Christians, Jesus performing miracles with the staff was not magical. Rather, it was intrinsically biblical, recalling Moses, and innately ecclesial, touting the supremacy of the church, explains Jefferson. So, where am I? Yeah, so that's what we have here. So, it was a theological point being made through the poetic license of these artists, right? Because nowhere in scripture do we see Jesus walking around with a staff. But they understood that Jesus, someone greater than Moses, has arrived when it comes to Jesus. That's the point they're making in the sarcophagi and these different reliefs. Jesus is the greatest miracle worker. We had Moses, we had Elijah. Now we have someone that supersedes both individuals. And the artist wanted to show that from an artistic standpoint. That's what was happening. He wasn't Doctor Strange with the Eye of Agamotto, and that's not what's happening here. So MJ.
Yeah, we didn't even have to step outside of the Christian tradition to start coming up with the explanation concerning Jesus having a quote unquote staff in these pictures or pictorials. No, the much simpler explanation um, is like you said, he's being depicted as another Moses, one greater than Moses. And we even have biblical data where Moses said that there would be a prophet from among the brothers of Israel who would come, you know. So the simpler explanation, knock on wood, Occam's razor,
Shit.
uh, is that Jesus was like Moses. But also we see that Jesus is also the good shepherd as well. He's considered the good shepherd. Shepherds had staffs, things like that. He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So you have that motif as well. So Seti.
I mean, and it's sad, but this is what happens when your entire YouTube channel is one giant sharpshooter fallacy, right? Because he starts with the premise that Christianity is wicked, evil, and oppressive to black and brown people. He starts with that. So, and he tries to find things that will, fit into that conclusion, as opposed to allowing the data to take you where it should. You know what I mean? So, and it's sad, And shout out to Dr. Falk. He's in the building. What's going on, sir? Um, because again, it's he has an agenda. It's like, I'm here to take down the gospel, Christianity, and Jesus, and whatever fringe thing I could find on the interwebs, I will use it if it fits my agenda. And that's why people like me and MJ have to come and show that, hey, this is horrible. This is not true. This is fallacious. This is incorrect. He even labeled one of the sarcophagi wrong. He said it was Elijah. He thought it was Jesus. No, it was Elijah. So, and I know people hate when I say this. I'm not a scholar by any stretch of imagination. So if I could figure this out, anybody else can too. You know what I mean? So it's just sad that, but the reason why we address it, and I know a lot of people in our chat, we're very well educated, well read people here, and this would never get past you guys. But there are a lot of people who would be, caught into the stuff. So I'm hoping that when they watch this, hopefully in their YouTube algorithm, this shows up as well, right? Because we're here to defend the gospel and to cast down anything that comes against it, right? That's why we do what we do. So, yeah, that's about it. MJ, short and to the point,
Yeah, not much typical Seti video, not much to work with, but something there.
I'm just here to have a good time. Well, I'm hoping that you are. I gotta get you back on the channel soon. Definitely gotta do that. So, let me see here. Who's the chat? Oh, he's asking Dr. Falk. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Egypt and the Bible, please do. The great thing about Dr. Falk is that not only is he an Egyptologist, an actual Egyptologist with the degree, right? But he's also a believer in Jesus. So, yeah, and I appreciate that, Dr. Falk. Right. But he's a great scholar. He's someone who's helped me learn quite a bit, and it's definitely somebody that you need to really listen to. Good guy and hilarious. Dr. Falk is hilarious.
I was gonna go grab some popcorn while he answered that question, but no, I understand.
So, but yeah, so your final thoughts, MJ? I mean, we're pretty much done here.
Oh Lord. Well, I mean, reading is fundamental, um, and you know, um, he cut himself earlier. I mean, he said that you know that if you go to the sources closest to the events, that you are more likely to find a decent answer. So I mean, it was by his own standard that we really fact checked him,
Pretty
and
much.
like I said, we didn't really have to step outside of the Christian tradition to do so. Like, why run to the Persians? Why? I'm sorry, but no, I mean it's typical city, and it's that time of the year where they about to come out the woodworks with the Christmas is pagan,
Right.
and
Right.
Jesus was in Egypt hiding amongst black folk, uh learning
The
in
days
the
of the
lodge.
sorcerers, right? In the
Hold on.
lodge.
Jesus was
Man.
he was a Freemason learning in the lodge.
Right. He learned how to
So
levitate
yeah.
and but yeah, but yeah, guys, but that's it. Hopefully you'll be seeing us this Friday. I think we'll be doing the Ray Hagen's Christmas special. That's gonna be very interesting. So yeah. So with that being said, guys, uh everything's pagan. Yeah. Well, especially if you're driving a Mazda, right? Because Mazda is the name of a Persian deity, right? So
Mm.
and God forbid you're using Goodyear tires, right? With the wing Mercury hills on them joints, right? That's super
Mm.
pagan. And you better not be wearing any Michael, some Jordans, because Nike's the goddess of victory. So, but anyway, with that being said, MJ and BK sign off. Peace.
Dude.